Hello, everybody. Welcome back to
What?
Podcast. My name is Becca.
I'm Alston.
I'm Aubriana.
And I'm Jason.
So, Valentine's Day is tomorrow by the time you guys are seeing this, and what better way to celebrate than to talk all about love or lack thereof? We thought it would be fun to start talking about some red flags in relationships, and who better to talk about that than our good old buddy Jason over here.
Hey, first off, I need to start with an announcement. I'm marrying into the family. Your dad proposed to me, and I'm gonna be your evil stepmother.
Oh my gosh.
Are you excited?
So excited.
This is news to him.
Right, wow.
I was in a relationship once upon a time. So, one of my biggest red flags for a relationship is someone who does not stand up for their own significant other. I was literally in a relationship with a guy, and he'd be talking with his friends, and they'd be saying horrendous shit, and I would try to pipe in and be like, calm down, and then they would talk back to me in a really rude way, and he would just sit there and be like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, come on, you're really not going to defend your significant other? It's disgusting.
My husband wants to fight everyone who looks at me the wrong way.
Right? And that's what I wanted for a relationship, but I didn't get that because my ex was a and now he went off with my ex-best friend, so that's lovely, isn't it? So yeah, that's one red flag. Don't get with anyone who doesn't stand up for you.
I just feel like if someone's not going to stand up for you, it's just like they don't even respect you then.
Right?
You're just going to let people disrespect you.
Also,
Telling them to pucker up, Buttercup.
Also, another red flag, which is really disgusting about my ex, he hardly showered. It was disgusting. I don't know why I kept up with him. Like, ew. He showered like maybe once a week.
Wow.
And he always wanted me to give him when he was gross and greasy and disgusting. And we, like, never had sex throughout our whole 2-year relationship. Him. You. And you, ex-best friend. Go yourself. I have the mouth of a sailor. You should know this
Don't
by
we
now.
all? But my first, long-term boyfriend... Guys, I was preyed on when I was 17 years old by a 27-year-old man.
Sicky.
And that was my first boyfriend, and he was very narcissistic. So, honestly, it's so hard for me because one of my biggest red flags is somebody being nice to your face because he seemed so nice. And then he just was not. It was it was physical abuse, but it was the mental abuse that, I would get in, arguments, and I would want to leave, and he would block me in his house until I would literally just, break down and have a panic attack, and then he'd call my friend and say, she's going crazy, I don't know what's wrong with her.
The gaslighting.
Yeah! I'm like, what the heck? I remember one day, he was blocking me in his house, I finally got out, got into my car, he jumped in my driver's side window, and was holding onto my steering wheel, so I started hitting my head off the steering wheel.
My God.
But, I was going crazy. He was making me feel crazy.
Yeah.
And then he called my friend and was like, you have to come, here. She's going crazy. I don't know what's wrong with her. And I'm like, you don't know what's wrong with me?
He literally drove you crazy.
But he had a kid. And I didn't feel like I could abandon the kid. Mm-hmm. But I feel like my big red flags, I don't even know. Because, I have been with my husband for almost 9 years now. And he's a walking green flag.
Exactly. He's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves Danny. Danny loves everybody, unless...
Too lame to be in this episode, though.
Too lame or the baby won't go to sleep. See? Yeah. Walking green flag. I don't have to sit this out because my husband willingly sits it out so that I can do this, and he takes care of the baby.
Takes care of baby.
And he's not in this podcast today because my child has a cold and she doesn't want to go to sleep.
One of my biggest red flags is... stalking and over possessiveness. I had this ex that when we broke up, she became very possessive and would just stare at me because we were in high school at the time, and anytime we were in the same room, she would stare at me and just follow her eyes. Anytime you looked at her, she would just be staring, and she would follow me everywhere. And one time we were coming back from band practice and she freaking threw a tuba at me.
That's cute.
Not very much. But...
Could you imagine though? Those things are giant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it left a nice bruise on my arm. And then she ended up doing the same thing where I found out she was dating my best friend.
Oh my god.
Always the best friend. Always.
Right, she was the best friend of like 10 plus years too. Like...
Mine was 20 years. Actually, I'm 21. How many years would that be?
Like 8.
Yeah.
From the womb.
Right, the womb on.
A tuba?
She slapped me across the face before that.
Why? Who? You make me mad, and I think I'm gonna get my tuba.
I mean, to be fair, she did have the tuba in her arms at least, but still.
She was
At least
ready.
there was no extra effort to get the tuba to throw at you.
Yeah.
But
right, you're pissed.
I mean, I'd
Let
throw
me
the
go get my
closest thing.
tuba.
open my case, grab the tuba,
Right.
walk back to you, throw it.
I mean, I would take this sign and just like,
I love kids. Who wants to have kids?
yeah, who wants to have kids with me?
Hi, baby.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, she's staring over there.
Hello. Hello.
I think a big red flag for me is like, okay, number one thing, I love this podcast in the sense of we're all different types of people coming from all different types of backgrounds. Even though, like, they're related, they still grew up in different, like, paths. And, like, I grew up different, Jason grew up different, Danny grew up different. So it's, like, that's kind of something cool, like, when we all come together and, like, these stories that we tell. Or, like, just, like, it's always something relatable to, like, someone listening to, like, hopefully we relate to you.
Someone can relate to one of us.
Yeah. And I think as a person who grew up as a bigger girl, like, my whole life, I didn't think of it as a red flag until I, like, had more respect for myself. And as crazy as that sounds, it's just so true. It's just, like, I was with somebody, but they, like, refused to, like, actually claim me. And it's, like, a lot of people always, like, they'll say they're not into plus-size people, or they say they're not attracted to plus-size people, or, like, whatever, but on the down low, they're messaging all of us. Let me tell you, they're in my DMs, they're sending me videos, they're sending me pics. They just don't want to, like, show it. Like, I don't know why. It's so embarrassing, you know, to be with me, but it's not embarrassing if we're alone. So, like, that's a huge thing for me, where it's just, like, I used to think it was okay, because it's like, yeah, who cares? Like, someone likes me, but, like, it's not okay. And if someone's doing that to you, like, that's not okay. Like, you should be proud of who you're with, no matter, like, who they are. And if you're not proud of who you're with, like, you shouldn't be with them. That's not being with somebody. You're literally just, like, suppressing them from potentially a relationship that could be amazing for them, is how I see it. Like, if someone feels embarrassed of you, you shouldn't, like, put yourself to that level. And that's one thing, like, going into a green flag is, like, when I first met Alston, like, that was something that was actually, like, very interesting to me, is that, like, he was actually, like, interested in me. Like, he was interested in, like, talking to me, like, all the time, like, in public. Like, he wanted to be, like, I could pick you up at any time of the day. Like, we could hang out and go to, like, things in public together. Like, you'd go out to eat with me and not just, like, order food to go and, like, eat in a car and, like, smoke in a car and, like, drop each other off and, like, call it a day. Like, it's just kind of, like, it was a really eye-opening and, like, refreshing thing.
Well, and he posts you all over his socials, too.
Right. I mean, clearly it worked. But not, like, it worked, but it's just, like, when you find somebody who actually, like, looks at you as a person, like, you actually, like, start to love yourself genuinely. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people miss is, like, being in a relationship, in my opinion, isn't, like, it shouldn't be, like, oh, I'm with somebody because, like, I need somebody to, like, look cool. Like, I have to be in a relationship for, like, this status. It's like when you do that, it just isn't as genuine as when you, like, can find somebody who, like, looks at you as, like, the world. And I feel like you know that too, Obs, like, with Danny.
Not me.
I will just like to say, I'm so glad that you have someone that's not embarrassed of you, because I'm so glad you're part of our family.
It was
All of
very
you guys.
nerve-wracking at first.
All of you guys have beautiful relationships. I'm jealous. The only thing I get is hooking up with straight guys, like, once every other year.
You have issues with men finding you attractive behind closed doors, but being too embarrassed to find you attractive in the real world.
Right.
I have experiences of men not liking my popularity, so being okay with being attracted to me behind closed doors, but not in the real world. And then you have experience with men who pretend they're straight in the real world, and then behind closed doors.
Yep.
Want a little...
It's really sad. I mean, and especially it makes sense where we are from, because a lot of the area is they look the same way, they act the same way, they're the same person 100 times over. And there's not a lot of diversity, and so it's hard to feel like you can truly be yourself with somebody. So I get it on a certain level, but at the same time, like, why do we care so much
Right.
what other people think of us?
Yeah, I would say I'm, like, genuinely the happiest when I, like, quit caring.
Yeah.
And, like, I've lost so many, like, friends, but I don't even see it as, like,
Friends.
losing friends.
No.
It's more of as, like, my life got busier with, like, things that actually mattered to me, and I didn't put all my energy into somebody else. I was the problem. So it's just, like, when you find someone that, like, even when we first started talking, like, it's not like I had to, like, text you back right away. You weren't like, wow, you didn't, like, text me back. You weren't, like, weird at work the next day. Like, I miss parties you invited me to. Like, I didn't even go to the first party, like, party or two I think you invited me to. But it never was like, wow, I invited you to something and you couldn't come. It's like, when you have, like, that guilt behind it, it's just, like, that's not genuine to me either. Like, you wanted me to go because you wanted me to physically be there, not because you wanted numbers at your party.
Another thing with my ex, I was at a party once. It was kind of like, it wasn't a rave, but like one of those,
Do not judge.
one of those garage thing. There was like a DJ type of thing, a bunch of people, but it was in like someone's garage or someone's house, whatever. But like, my boyfriend was there, and I was in like the kitchen talking to people. I go out into the living room where everyone's dancing, and there's some other guy who just, like, comes up to him and starts, like, dancing. And he didn't say anything. Like, I went up to him and I pulled the whole, like, typical, like, get the off my boyfriend thing.
Yeah.
Like, he literally didn't do anything. He wasn't, like, getting all hot on them, but he was just stood there, like... And I'm just like, you wouldn't push him off you. Like, I had to do it. Like, what the
Sorry, I'd expect my husband to physically lift a girl up and move her away from
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
if she tried to dance on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that goes back to what you were saying, where it's like, he never stood up for you. So it's like, he's not gonna... Why would he stand up for you in that situation?
Right.
And it's just... Hello.
The baby really wants to be part of our podcast, but
Yes.
We don't exploit children.
No, not here. Another interesting thing about us, so like age, like Ob's talking about like being groomed, like that genuinely is grooming in my opinion. Like when you're like almost 30 going after somebody that's like just out of high school. 27.
I feel like we've gotten deep enough for tonight. We've gotten depressing enough for tonight. So we're still going to keep it on the love train, but let's go into embarrassing first dates, embarrassing encounters, just something that will turn your cheeks red when you talk about it again.
One time, I wasn't...
At band camp.
I never went to band camp.
I was kicked out.
I wasn't in band. Back in the day, like, when I first started having... It was just a couple years ago, because I'm 21. But, like, I wasn't familiar with dude. So, I didn't, like, crap on the but I, like, let out a really huge fart, and it was, like, really embarrassing. Like, but you... But you go to the UK, like, you watch TV, and they show, like...
I had my first ever, I don't even know if I'd qualify him as a boyfriend, but we went out on a date, and I had to drive to his mom's house, pick him up, we went to Taco Bell, and I paid.
And of course, back to what we said in the first episode, to Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
We just had it last night.
It was really good, actually.
I'm actually kind of scared because I didn't poop after last night's Taco Bell.
I didn't either.
And now we just ate a bunch of Chinese.
Yeah, I know.
Wow,
Recipes.
we're like on the same page.
We
with
really
everything.
are.
What the heck?
I'm gonna bust a toilet tomorrow.
One of my embarrassing stories is when I lost my virginity, And I don't know if anybody knew, but I'm a trans man, so I have female anatomy, and we had never discussed this, me and my ex-girlfriend. We never discussed what exactly meant for us. And literally, as soon as it kind of got going, more than just heavy petting, she literally stopped and was like, "Is this sex?" And it was so embarrassing. That was pretty awkward.
Hot.
This was after you left college, because I think I was a senior in college at this point. But, like, one of the most, like, weirdest, dates I've ever been on is, like, I used to be a teacher's assistant, and this guy, like, he was so up my butt all the time, but he was, like a teacher's pet, so I just thought he was just trying to, like, get good grades.
Was he hot?
No, he was. That's why maybe that's why too. But like, I also was like a teacher. Like I was just like, I'm not like, I'm a senior. Like I think he was like maybe a sophomore or something. But like I was about to graduate. Like, dude, I'm not about to stick around here. Like, even though LOL, I'm back here. But yeah, he was like, after class, he was like, you want to go to Subway?
You want to eat French?
Yeah, and I was just like, no. Like we literally just cooked food. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're in a cooking school, and like we literally just finished wrapping up everything, and so we could eat all the extra food, and he's asking me to go to Subway. Like, we literally cooked gourmet food in this kitchen. Like, I'm so serious. And he's like,
could eat it for free.
Yeah, we literally could eat anything extra, especially because, like, I think this is literally on, like, our Friday.
Everything's free when you're paying college tuition.
Right,
Very
I mean...
true.
And that's on God.
I mean,
Very
that's true. But it was still, like, people were coming in and paying, like, $40 a plate for some of this stuff. Like, yeah, like, literally, like... And especially when I was going to college, that was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you understand.
Right now, it'd be like $80.
Yeah, it could be. It'd be like, I remember like one of the things we did in college was like a huge themed dinner, and that was like $150 a person back then. Yeah, so like the stuff we did was like pretty fancy dancy, and you're asking me to go to Subway after class. Like, what the heck? It was just like so awkward and so weird. And I guess I'm just awkward and weird too, because like I didn't even like pick up on it. I was just like, no, like, I don't even want to do that. And it was just like, he finally quit bugging me after a while, but it took a long time.
I mean, if he asked you to go to Taco Bell after, then it'd
Totally different.
Maybe different, right? Or even, but it's so crazy because like when at the college that we both attended at different times, I know, right? But like when we were there, they started like expanding like certain things. So like we even had like a sushi place like right next to Subway, and you're still gonna pick Subway?
Silly.
It's just silly to me. And like I'm not trying to don't get me wrong, y'all. I literally like pick up Subway all the time. It's just like the timing of it. Like anytime people ever like ask me out, it never feels like it, because again, it's just maybe it's the whole like they're not committing to a fat girl. Like it's weird. Like, don't ask me to hang out. Like, if you want to date me. Like, ask me to go on a date. Don't just be like, we should go to Subway.
I've never ever gone on a date
Same.
before starting to date somebody.
Oh, I've never gone on a date at all.
Like, me and Danny met at a party in a garage with my friend. Like, my friend was dating his friend, and she invited me to a party at her boyfriend's parents' garage. I went there. Danny was there. We hooked up that night, and then we've been together 9 years. There was never any like, oh, will you go out with me? I remember him going home that night, it was the next morning. We spent the night there, and he told me this a couple years later that he didn't think I'd even call him or text him.
Oh.
And I did. Mm-hmm. It's so funny to me, like, thinking about it, though, because, like, I was the unpopular, awkward kid, and he's sitting here like, she's not even gonna text me back. She's too cool for me, like.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And
what?
he'd still be like that to you, about you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be smoking outside, and he's just like, I don't even know why she's with me. So, Becca and I, we met through work, and like at one point I was like her manager, and then she was my manager, and then we quit those jobs and started working together, and we've been together since. Weirdly enough, like it's a winter festival at a college, and like we went and like walked around that on our first date, and then we're gonna go tomorrow and go do the same thing for our 3-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Loves it.
And now we're married.
It is really crazy to think, like, when you get with somebody like, they were just a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we first met...
I still think about that sometimes. I'm just like... Sometimes I'll just be laying in bed and I'm just like...
I don't even know you. When I first met my husband, after we started dating, I found out that, like, his family is linked to my family in a couple different ways. Like, his dad and my...
I don't think like that. They're not related.
We are not.
I'm just kidding.
Sweet
I'm
home
kidding.
Alabama.
Yeah, we're not Alabama.
But anyway, no, I am not related to my husband except through marriage. Anyway, his dad and my dad used to fish at the same spot. So, like, they've known each other for years. And, well, his dad and my stepdad. And then his oldest brother and my real dad knew each other or know each other because they both are in bands and they, like, would jam with each other once in a while. So when I told my dad who I was dating, the first thing he said is he better not be anything like his older brother, because his older brother was not nice to women, and I can never imagine Danny being mean to me.
No.
Ever.
I can't see him ever being mad.
We get in one major fight a year. That's it. Like, yelling fight. We bicker about stupid crap, but he infuriates me though because I don't get to fight with him. Like, and it's my trauma growing up, like, being raised in a household where our parents are constantly screaming at each other. So in my brain, if we're fighting, we're yelling. We need to be yelling. And, like, I'll try to get mad at him. And he's just like, it's fine. Like, we're fine. I'm like, what? You're supposed to yell so I can yell back. But he doesn't yell, so then I don't want to yell. So then we don't yell. We just don't fight. We get one good fight in a year.
One good fight.
Becca and I, like, coming back to, like, having, like, living in a small town, having very close relationships unknowingly. Like, she was not, like, in the same friend group as one of my older sisters, but, like, they had mutual friends. Mm-hmm. And, like, her mom helped with my oldest brother's preschool.
Yeah.
And just, like, really wild things. Like, your sister's boyfriend's mom was best friends with my great aunt.
Yeah.
So my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just...
They live a street away from my dad.
But, like, never...
But your dad and her mom grew up together.
Yeah, I think they're around the same age. But that's, like, it's so crazy, too, because I knew 3 of your older siblings, both of you, and I never knew anybody else until I moved back up here. Right. And that's when I met you, and then I met Obbs.
We're 8 years apart, but I didn't know her till I was 21.
Yeah, and I was 29.
You were legal ages.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big thing up here, too. Religion.
Yeah.
Apostolic, Christian.
We were non-denominational, but we were basically, like, Southern Baptist, like, level, like, cultish. Like, people running around the church with streamers and falling on the floor.
Ew. No, but that's gonna be in its own episode. We should go into that.
But, like, it's so crazy, too, because y'all went to a church like that, and, like, Jason and I went to a church that was, like, I was telling you this the other day, like, my, like, Sunday school teacher, like, when I was in high school, told us, like, if you need a ride, like, and you don't want to call your parents, like, aka if you're drunk, like, call me. Like, our, like, Sunday, like, our preachers were telling us, like, they're safe people in that way. Like, we weren't running around with incense and streamers and horns, and, like, we literally just we would read the Bible.
Like, I went to get confirmed and then I peaced out.
Yeah, I pretty much quit going when I was, like, in senior in high school, but I was working full time.
My pastor's wife told all the other parents to tell their kids to stay away from me when I was in high school. Ooh. So that really was actually shit.
Bad
she also didn't go to my baby shower because I wasn't married.
And I was also kicked out of a Christian band camp. Well, it wasn't even a Christian band camp. It was band camp that was
At
a
a
Christian
Christian
camp.
place.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that's just like the huge thing up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's like a camp, it is like a church camp, or church retreat or something.
Nobody flaunts anything. Like, I'm not going around like I'm trans. It's just like I exist and people hate me.
Right? They act like
Literally.
we're shoving it in their face.
There's this guy I work with, and he was, when I used to work at this gas station, he would, like, be so nice, hi, like, call me sir, whatever. I pass as a man, and then I started working at the factory. He was fine. I literally ran into him in the bathroom multiple times. He's like, good morning, how's it going? And everything. And then I got outed by somebody as trans, and now he f***ing hates me and told me I'm ruining this country, and he didn't fight in the wars, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, you did. You fought for freedom. What the hell do you think freedom means? Let us know if you want to hear about our religious upbringings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to, I feel as though it's coming, a political episode.
Oh, it's coming.
Right. And, like, a more in-depth of what it's like growing up queer or plus size or anything up
Different.
here. Right.
If there is ever any subject or anything you want to hear any of us talk about, leave it in the comments. You can be specific on who. It can be Jason, me, Danny, Bean, Becca, Alston, Becca, sorry. Any of us, if there's a certain topic you want to hear, a certain story or experience you want to hear about, leave it in the comments. We aim to please for the most part.
Ask any questions. We love
Questions too. As soon as we get enough, we will start dedicating a segment of our
Right.
podcast to
Or we
answering
can do
questions.
mini-sodes. And we just want people to feel less alone.
Yeah.
Especially in small towns. Like, there are good people out there.
it. Rick, Josh, I gave you one story. More to come. Shout out to you, bitch.
The biggest reason we came together to do this podcast is because we all are a little bit different. Our upbringings are all different. Even me and him, like, yeah, we are siblings. We were raised in the same household, but I also had my dad to go to. Like, he has a different dad. My mom was married to my stepdad, which is his dad. And so I have a different dad that I got to go see every weekend. So even our upbringings are a little bit different. And with him being trans, we have a lot of different experiences as well.
And there's also a lot of struggles with mental health up here.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with how long our winters are.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more to come about that.
I want to end this podcast with a little bit of lighthearted and happy storytelling. So we're going to talk a little bit about our individual relationships and what we're looking for in a relationship. I am married to the other host that is currently missing from this podcast. We've been married again for 9 years. And as much as I want to say our relationship has been smooth sailing, it's not always smooth sailing, but for the most part, being surrounded by somebody who not only supports you, but pushes you to do the things that you want to do. Like, I will bring up this podcast, for example. I brought up wanting to start a podcast, and it's been something that's been on my mind for a while. And when they were all like, hey, we should start a podcast, me and my husband started talking about it, and instantly he's like talking to me about it as often as he can, reminding me that I need to do it, reminding me that it'll be good. Even when I feel like so down on myself about things, he's like, no, just do it. People will like you. You'll do a good job. We'll get you everything you need to do it. He supports my reading addiction. He supports everything I want to do in life. I also have a partner in life who, like, very much steps up when it comes to parenting, which is something I know a lot of people don't have. I don't have a babysitter for a husband. My children don't have a babysitter for a dad. They have an actual dad who doesn't complain when I need to go out and do things or when I want to go out and do things, who is constantly here. Me and my husband got married. We're going on our 3-year wedding anniversary. He officiated our wedding. But we got married almost 3 years ago now. It was a backyard wedding, super low-key, but it was also the best for who we are as people. Find a man that cares about you enough to push you to do the things he knows you'll be good at and he knows you'll succeed at. Find a man who encourages you even when you feel like you're not good enough. Find a man who will listen to you cry about your flabby stomach and still find you to be the hottest woman in the world. And find a man who shares your values and morals. please.
I'm looking at.
We've been together 3 years, married for half a year,
Yeah.
about. Yeah. It was weird. Like, is there so many, like, weird little signs, like, when we got together? Like, all these things were, like, how did we never cross paths? Like, how did we, like, never meet each other? How is this, like, so, like, we've been through so many, like, similar things, whether it's, like, childhood trauma or, like, high school trauma or just, like, things we've experienced at work before. It's weird. It was like we clicked very, very smoothly. And I knew he was the one when Nala accepted him, because my dog is a Rottweiler cattle dog mix. And if people don't know, like, literally, cattle dogs usually pick, like, one person as their person, and Rottweilers are very protective. So she is, like, I'm her alpha. Like, she does not show her teeth to me. Like, she will not, like, do anything like that to me. She'll want to. She has snapped a few times at you. But, like, when she started accepting you as, like, dad, like, that was, like... And it seems so silly to some people, but, like, when your dog, like, saves you, like, from a really deep depression after pretty much, like, a terrible, like, losing of friends and, like, stuff like that, like, it's important to me.
I want to know why. I don't even like dogs, and they always like me.
Yeah,
Why do
You're
they?
a decent human.
Why do they-
Yes, they like you because.
But
you're
I don't
good-
like them.
But you're a good person.
But you're a good person.
Yeah.
Dogs
Sometimes.
like good people.
You're also not a threat to my children, so my dogs like you.
Yeah.
True.
We also have another dog. His name is Potato. He's a pit bull
Terrier mix.
terrier mix. He's a mutt, and he is the sweetest 40 pounds of joy ever. He's my baby. And also another thing is, like, our relationship, like, we moved in together very fast, so we're still kind of figuring things out, and, like, not in a bad way at all. It's just we definitely have gone through some and we are married now, and we are in a good relationship.
We moved in together after 3
It was
months.
such a high stress situation, and just immediately there's just, like, so much, and it's just like you don't even know each other.
It's
yet.
a lot to digest.
And now you're living together and figuring that out, and figuring out how to, like, handle stress, figuring out how to handle a new person.
So, anyways, I am looking for tall, semi-fit, funny, gets along with my friends and family, decent-sized, nice. If you're out there, let me know.
Yeah, if we don't like you, you're not welcome.
Yeah, you have to get along with them. As long as you're a good person, hot, tall, get along with my friends, semi-decent body. Whatever. Thank you for watching.
Bye!
Thanks for listening to What Podcast.
Don't forget to hit all the buttons on your way out.
And we'll see you next Thursday.
What?
And